Hey guys, so I hope everything is going well and that these videos will help you out a little bit for the chapter 12 notes. We're going to go section by section. I might have to do more than one video for each section because I can only do 15 minutes of recording at a time. So we'll just kind of see how it goes and hopefully we'll be able to figure everything out. Again, please don't hesitate to ask questions, email me, send me a video, whatever you need to do. So in 12.1, you learn about statistics, and those of you who are going to take statistics next try or in the future, again, this is just a really short overview of it, and you'll get into a lot more detail in the actual statistics class, and there will be a couple of differences that you'll have to deal with, but it won't be too bad. So what we're going to do, statistics is about collecting, organizing, analyzing data, and then making predictions based on that data. So we're not actually going to collect data. All the data will be given to you, but we are going to organize the data, and that's what 12.2 is all about, is organizing the data. So we're just going to do a problem out of the book because it's very similar to what you're going to have to be able to do if you do the practice problems, and then also when it comes to quiz and test time. So we're going to look at page 745, number 30. They're giving the data for the age of the 44 presidents, so up through 2015, at the date of their inauguration. And this data looks a little bit different than the book because I've put it in order. So one of the first things they're going to tell you to do is put it in order. You don't technically have to for what we're going to do, but in the next section we're going to do some calculations where they will have to be in order. So it's usually just a lot easier to go ahead and put the data in order right away. I'll show you what you can do if you don't want to for this section. But again, usually it's going to be a lot easier for yourself if you put them in order. So I went ahead and put those numbers in order for you. There are 44 of them. So that is nice if they tell you how many there are. That way you know exactly how many there can be. Otherwise you can count them, obviously. So here they are in order. The first thing we're going to do is it tells us to make a grouped frequency distribution. So we're going to skip just the frequency distribution when there's one number. So for instance, if I interviewed all of the students out at the Western Center and said, how many siblings do you have? We probably wouldn't have a huge difference of numbers, maybe 0 up to 10, let's say. We don't need to group those. Like if you did 0 to 2, 3 to 5, so on and so forth, it just wouldn't be worth organizing it like that. So we would just put all the numbers individually. So we aren't going to do that, but you can. We're just going to do a grouped one. All right. So it will tell you, this book is really nice, and it tells you what your first class needs to be. So it tells us that we need our first class, which is the age, to be 42 to 47. All right. So again, it already told you, and for the quiz and for the test, it will tell you what your first class needs to be. After that, you're going to have to figure out the next classes. So here's how you do that. Since this one ends with 47, this one has to start with 48. Okay, so you cannot have a gap, but you can't put 47 here and 47 here because then you would have 47 in two different classes. So you just, whatever this one ends with, that's what this one starts with. All right. Now, some people look and notice these are 5 away. 2 plus 5 would be 7, okay, or 47 minus 42 is 5. That's fine, but this difference of 6 is called the class width. So when you change classes, that's called the class width, and that's 6. All right, so it doesn't matter if you want to say, well, I want to think of adding 5, so I know I'm going to put 53 there. That's totally fine, whichever way you want to do it. Okay, I like to just add 6 all the way down. All right, or some people say, okay, so then that means this one since this one ended with 53, this one has to start with 54. Or again, 48 plus 6 would give me 54. Plus another 6 is going to give me 60. Plus another 6 is going to give me 66. We got to kind of know, how do we know when we're done? Well, we need to look at all of the numbers. So again, if I add 6 here, I can also add 6 here. So this would be 59, or obviously since this one's 60, that one has to be 59. This one would be 65. This one would be 71. So what you have to look, our highest number is 69, so it fits in here. Here's a big thing that people do. They think that this last number needs to be 69. That's not true. All of these have to be the same, have to have the same number of numbers in them. So like when you subtract, you get 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, or when you go down, you get 6, 6, 6, 6, all the way down. Okay, so don't just stop with the last number. So those are your classes right there. That's all you do is, again, figure out, okay, since this ends in 47, this one starts with 48, so my class width is 6. So I just need to add 6 all the way down. All right, and then the other column you need is frequency. So the reason it's nice to put them in order is you can just go up here and look, okay, 42 through 47. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 of them that are in that category. 48 through 53. So that would be all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Then we need to go up through 59. So all the way through here. There are 17 in there. Okay. And then 60 to 65 takes all of those. 8, and then our last one would only have 2. Obviously what you want to do is you want to add all of those together and make sure they add up to your total, which should be 44. And they do, so we're good to go. So that's what a group frequency distribution is right there. You need to break it into your classes. Again, they will tell you what your first class needs to be. You just need to figure out the rest of them, and then you count for your frequency. That's it. Right. Once you get your group frequency distribution, you can make 2 different graphs off of it. Okay, we are going to have to add something else in there. But the first thing we're going to make is a histogram. Some people think of this as like a bar graph or a bar chart. Okay, the difference is histograms touch where bar graphs or bar charts don't touch. Sometimes you will see that people put the classes on there. So each bar, the bar would go 42 to 47, so on and so forth. This book wants us to use what is called a class mark, or those of you in statistics are going to learn it as the midpoint, the class midpoint. So I'm going to put that in there, but our book uses class mark. What it is it's the middle number. Okay, so the way you find the middle number is you do 42 plus 47 and divide it by 2. 42 plus 47 divided by 2, that's going to give you 44.5. Okay, again, that's 42 plus 47 over 2. That's how you find the middle number. Now here's the great part, is you don't have to do that for all of them. Since these numbers differ by 6, these numbers are also going to differ by 6. So you just need to add 6. So 50.5, 56.5, 62.5, 68.5. And if you just want to double check, then do that. 48 plus 53 divided by 2, you're going to get 50.5, so on and so forth. So these numbers, the class mark or the midpoint, are what you're going to use as your label for your histogram. All right, so here's what a histogram looks like. You need to make just the first quadrant of an XY chart. I'm going to be super picky about these. You need to label. So this is ages of president at inauguration. So we have age down here and frequency over here. Unfortunately, this is kind of a hard one because there's such a difference from 2 all the way up to 17. So I'm going to count by 4s. Just to make it fit. So however you can make it fit is totally fine. So, and for ages, again, instead of putting 42 to 47, you're going to put 44.5. And I know it's kind of weird to do a decimal, but so 44.5 and 50.5. So all of your class marks or your midpoints go along the bottom. All right, and what you do, those become the middle of your box when you draw your histogram. So our first one, 44.5, has a frequency of 6. So it goes right like that, right around the middle of the 44.5. Sorry, I know this doesn't zoom in. Very good. Hopefully that's a little bit better. All right, and then we have to go up to 11 for the next one. So again, you need to connect your boxes. So it looks like that. Then we have 17. And then 8. And 2. There we go. That's what a histogram looks like right there. All right, that's a histogram. Put the ages, in this case, along the bottom, frequency along the side. Make your boxes, make sure that they are touching. Okay. The next graph that you get to make actually just can go right on top of it. And it's called a frequency polygon. And here's what you do. You put a dot here, here, just right in the middle is your frequency polygon. Then you have to, if you remember from geometry, a polygon needs to be a closed figure. So what you're going to do is you're going to close it all the way down to the x-axis on the bottom corner of your box. Then you just connect the dots. There we go. So you have your histogram and you have your frequency polygon all together. All right, so your histogram is the boxes, and then frequency polygon, you can draw it right back on over top of it, and then you're good. Obviously, if they want you to separate it into 2 separate set of axes, then you would just redraw this exact same thing, just draw the line over instead of having both of them on the same one.